Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. If you don't already know this game, I'd prepare yourself. This is going to be one tough cookie. Now, Super Star Wars was released exclusively on the Super Nintendo in 1993. It closely follows the storyline of the first film, or, if you were born in 1999 or after, the fourth film, and has to make certain changes to the story here or there, but generally sticks quite closely to it. Fans of the series will recognise such levels as the Mos Eisley Cantina, such levels as Inside the Death Star. Throughout the course of the game, players also get to play as Luke Skywalker, Han Solo and Chewbacca, as well as driving an X-Wing fighter and a land speeder. As you would expect from any action platformer, there are numerous power-ups to pick up as you progress through any given level. There are weapon power-ups, allowing you to upgrade your blaster, life power-ups, increasing the amount of life you can have in any given time, and other power-ups such as shields and thermal detonators, which clear an entire screen of all enemies. So, without further ado, let's have a look at Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. Let's get just one thing straight. This is a great game. Forget the fact that it's a Star Wars game. As a game, it's amazing. The gameplay is exactly what you would want from an action platformer. The controls are easy to use, responsive, and well laid out. As an action platformer, the game has exactly what you want. Great power-ups, a cacophony of enemies, daring jumps, deadly traps, you name it, chances are this game has it. Well, except for a giant scorpion, I guess. Oh no, there's one. Never mind. As well as playing really well, the game looks great, especially for 1993. It's just another example of the huge power that the Super Nintendo was packing. The characters all look like the people they are supposed to. The enemies are numerous, but don't look out of place in the Star Wars universe. Each of the levels could be lifted directly from the films, and every now and then a small homage to the films is just enough to keep the fanboys happy. Or so you'd think, but that's to come. That, however, is the biggest, strongest point about this game. It's such a great homage to the films. It really pays tribute to the first Star Wars film, or the fourth Star Wars film, however you look at it. This game has obviously been developed with the story in mind. It's so close to the story, it's unbelievable. Everything just looks so Star Wars. It's just such a great representation of everything that the Star Wars universe had to offer at the time. Another great thing about the game is the soundtrack. I mean, every single song in the game is a direct adaptation, in game form, of a song from the film. You'll recognise countless tracks from the game that just sound exactly like they are supposed to. Why don't you have a listen and just check for yourself? Finally, we've been putting it off long enough, but let's talk about the difficulty. This game is tough. So tough. But that is certainly not a bad thing. This is not some 2005 game released for the kiddies which allows you to make TIE fighters out of Lego bricks and play as your favourite characters like Jar Jar Binks. This game was actually developed for the hardcore gamers, and that's no bad thing. With the difficulty comes a sense that, for once, someone was thinking of making a good game rather than thinking about the money tree that Star Wars merchandise has become. That's right, a good Star Wars game. We've already spoken about the difficulty in the game, and it's not something you can really appreciate properly until you've played it. Now, obviously, for someone of my calibre, it's not a problem. However, for younger gamers, and experienced gamers in particular, this game can cause really big struggles. In recent years, the Star Wars saga has been directed more towards children, with the release of Star Wars lunchboxes and the children's television series Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So imagine some poor child picking this game up, thinking, "Ooh, Star Wars, I like that, mummy," and getting slaughtered on the first level. We're going to end up with a whole generation of reprobates. Oh, never mind, too late. Anyway, Mummy, I know I killed the doggy, Mummy, but it was all because of that Tatooine level in Super Star Wars, Mummy. I couldn't do it. George Lucas is going to have a lot to answer for. But then don't we already know that? One of the biggest problems is that often the deaths are so unfair. Every time you get hit by an enemy, you fall backwards. It's a pain, especially when trying to traverse the outside of the Jawa's sandcrawler or the Tatooine cliffs, and in the latter level especially, often sends you falling to your death. Even if you don't die. The difficulty is so frustrating. Why should I have to repeat parts of the same level just because I got pushed off a cliff? It's just so annoying. I don't want to play the same parts of the level again. I want to play new levels. I want to fly in X-Wing fighters. I don't want to have to do that damn sandcrawler again and again and again. Ah! As we've said, the game is fairly true to the story, but needs to deviate at times to incorporate the story into a game. Would you rather a game where you spent 20 minutes standing in a bar in Mos Eisley Cantina, or would you rather shoot your way through a huge bunch of grisly looking characters? Precisely. However, Star Wars, possibly more than any other film series out there in the world, has a huge fan base that surrounds it. And when I say fan base, I mean fan base. Now this has attracted some criticism by said fans about this game. Why did Luke attack the sandcrawler? That doesn't happen in the film. Blah, blah, blah. So, maybe less a criticism of the game, that one. More a criticism of the fans. Get girlfriends. Super Star Wars is not only a great game, but it's a great Star Wars game, which, let's be honest, are few and far between. It looks amazing, it sounds like a true homage to the film, and the gameplay is really, really good. A sense of achievement, however, can often be overshadowed by a sense of frustration. Some of the deaths are just so unfair, and some of the levels are so tough. Now what this might do is actually put some gamers off Super Star Wars, which is a shame because you're missing out on a really good game. However, it is let down by just such toughness. 81% for Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. Super Star Wars is a solid Super Nintendo game. Join me tomorrow when we look at the next instalment in the saga, Super Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. See you there.